this tournament, I've watched the World Cup, I guess, the last couple of times around, but this one seems to be really capturing people more than in the past.
Especially in this country. We've never lost a party, and the World Cup is the ultimate party. There's more butterflies in soccer stomachs than ever before in this country. Ratings are great, but whether we have long-term growth, the U.S. gets out of this particular group. Hopefully, we're going to have a record number of people watching in this game against Germany, and they will build as we move through the World Cup if we advance.
One of my mentors, Hugh Delahanty, who's a former Sports Illustrated editor, he for years was trying to get a big soccer magazine and the soccer project off the ground, and it just never really, it seemed like the numbers were there of guys my generation, and yet it never really took.
Well, it has. I happen to be involved in the old North American Soccer League as general manager of the old Washington Diplomats when the New York Cosmos and Pele and Beckenbauer spiked soccer interest in this country. It's an overnight success that's taken 50 years, and we've seen slow growth. I mean, this is a good business plan that MLS has.
Well, what is the business plan?
The business plan is they shrunk the stadiums. They're selling out. They've created pockets of incredible interest like Cascadia in the Northwest, some of the East Coast teams, and the asset appreciation of the franchises has increased. Manchester United and the Yankees, that franchise sold for $100 million. It's starting to get serious.
Right, but that's Man U, and that's in the UK. What about?
No, this is in New York. The MLS expansion franchise that will play in New York City is a joint venture of Man U and the Yankees. Portland, you can't get a ticket. Seattle, you can't get a ticket. Philadelphia, other franchises are really moving in the right direction.
Now, you were very involved in the NBA and in the Grizzlies, in Memphis Grizzlies. And I've been looking at the Sacramento Kings a lot lately because of the new ownership group there. And the owners there have talked to me about the specific sort of second-tier cities, not New York, not Los Angeles, maybe not Chicago, that have a particular different sort of metrics involved in making the numbers work with sports. What are those?
Well, Sacramento isn't as tiny as people think.
Right.
I mean, it's in the 20s. Memphis was in the 40s. There's marketplaces like New Orleans and Charlotte and Minneapolis that kind of struggle. The metrics are to own the region, and that's what Vivek Ranadive wants to do. Own that Northern California region. Create a rivalry with the Warriors, whether they're called San Francisco, Oakland, Golden State, whatever they should choose to be called. And their arena will be a major flashpoint, the new Kings Arena, which will be built and have fans sitting in seats before Golden State finishes its new place right around the corner from here.
But is it different? You know, I'm thinking of Portland. I'm thinking of New Orleans. I'm thinking of Oklahoma
San Antonio.
City,
right.
San Antonio. San Antonio, huge stadium, right? There's a lot of seats there. They also have a pretty good team.
DNA injection you have to get in the community. Give the Maloofs credit. For many, many years, that team drew sellout crowds at a very high number, and then they just lost their way. With the new Kings ownership, having Kevin Johnson, the point guard, literally as the mayor, they've got everything moving in the right direction, and they've recaptured the DNA of Sacramento in that part of the state.
They also have this great financial deal where they essentially got the city to, they're going to get a municipal bond rating, such a low
Well, look at it
rate.
vis-a-vis the Warriors, right? Hey, you're going to build a new place on Piers 30 and 32, which isn't happening anymore, for $1 billion of your own money.
Right.
And you're right, Sacramento's got a major
And they get the
deal.
real estate around that to develop that, and they've got a guy who really knows real estate working as one of the owners.
Yeah, and it's a retail development. So you see what's happening in the Giants and Mission Bay. That's really the model for quality civic involvement in sports.
All right, stick with me for a second, Andy. I want to bring in John Ehrlichman for our BUS Bite. One number that tells us a whole lot. John?
Well, it is related, Corey, 166%. There's a company called Networked Insights, which manages what people are saying about brands online, social media, and just online in general. After the first week of the World Cup, the references to ESPN online had gone up by 166%. What I thought was interesting is references to things like iTunes, Netflix, Instagram, and YouTube had all gone down substantially. But my caveat here is sometimes those are positive mentions. Sometimes when, for example, your live stream isn't working and you're trying to watch a game, those can be negative mentions.
Andy, let me ask you about this. The social media aspect of that. Does that help soccer? Is that changing things for the business?
Absolutely. Just as demographics in the United States are changing soccer, the investment that the sport has made over decades is coming forth, and the Bloomberg West lucky charm of having us advance to the next round. That has to be a major factor.
You really think John and I will take all the credit for that?
Well, you're going to take all the credit anyway, but I mean, but let's take it as a unit. It's a good day. The ratings will increase. It's good for soccer to a very crowded sports marketplace in North America.
Andy Dolich, thank you very much.